Live your life like it's a movie that's happening in real time, as if you are the main character. Not in like a delusional girl kind of way where they call themselves the main character and romanticize every aspect of their life, but as if your movie, your life right now is being played and people are watching you in this moment. This is how I try to imagine life because it helps me make the right decisions as much as I can. Every time I've been at a crossroads, I imagine my life being played out in a movie theater. What is the main character supposed to do right now? Am I supposed to cower to the moment, or am I supposed to push through? Whatever it was, I always imagine a bunch of people just watching me in the moment as if my life was a movie that's being played out in real time. Some people might think it's a bit narcissistic, but it genuinely helps you make the right decisions in those moments. Maybe the next time you want to jerk off when you know you should be productive instead, just imagine a bunch of people watching you in a movie theater. And trust me, you're not going to want to jerk off. The protagonist, the main character, isn't supposed to jerk off when he gets his heart broken. He channels that energy in the gym. I think it's easy to get caught up in being a spectator to other people's lives nowadays, especially because of social media, and especially if you don't believe in yourself. It's much more comfortable to live vicariously through the lives of others that you see through a screen because there's no risk, it's safe, but it's also a slow, painful death. Some people think that being the main character is some narcissistic thing that Gen Z came up with, but really what I'm just talking about is just empowering you to live out your own life, instead of being scared or depressed all the time. You should be the protagonist of your own story. Stop looking at all these celebrities or all these people you see through a screen, feeling bad about yourself because you don't think you can ever reach a certain level of success. 2024 is the hero's year, and you should be the hero of your own story. Again, not in some delusional, narcissistic type of way, but just take ownership of your own life in every aspect. Go after what you want, believe in yourself, stop comparing yourself, listen to your gut, listen to that voice in the back of your head. Because oftentimes when you stop fighting it and you listen to that voice in your head, it'll lead to your passion and your purpose. Like, I genuinely don't see why anyone else would want to be a spectator in the life of someone else. And I know you don't want that. Because if you're not going to be the main character of your own life, the hero of your own story, I don't see what the point would be in even being here for me personally. Because when I imagine my life being over, I'm gonna see a highlight reel of my entire life from start to finish. And all the memories and experience I've accumulated up until that point, they're all playing out and I get this rush of nostalgia. And it would absolutely kill me if that highlight reel was just going to school, going to college, clocking in and out of a 9-to-5 that I didn't necessarily hate, but I didn't love. And I just lived for the weekends, playing golf, watching sports that doesn't benefit my life in any way. Whatever normie activity, right? Because then I've effectively wasted all this time, all this life, and wasted God's creation on me. And I think about this all the time. God gave me a healthy body, a working pair of limbs, a pair of eyes, and I'm just gonna waste that by doing nothing and jerking off through life? I want that highlight reel to be filled with meaningful stories and experiences. I want it to be filled with struggle and overcoming struggle and working towards crafting this image and becoming the best version of myself possible. That's the only way to level up, is to take risk and have struggles. It's what the main character or the protagonist needs. That's your quote-unquote plot. I don't want to be a side character in someone else's story. I want to be the main character of my own story. I want to be the artist of my own life, painting on the canvas that is my life. And I know you do as well. Less and less people are starting to think this way because that hyper-individuality is being suppressed all the time by all this garbage programming that's indoctrinated through society. What is the life path taught out for 99% of people? You go to school, you go to college, you go pick out your life path at the age of 18, fall into debt, learning a bunch of random shit that's on the internet for free, spending most of your time getting wasted and ran through, and then you either go do more schooling or enter the workforce, go get some job, work till you're 65, maybe have a few 100K if you're lucky saved up to enjoy retirement. It's so outdated and the degree is becoming more and more useless. AI is gonna take over most jobs college graduates come out with. No one ever teaches you to learn a trade or master a skill. People are more lost than ever. Everyone's depressed, having a midlife crisis. Half the generation is on antidepressant pills, acting like they care about politics to cope with the fact that their life has no meaning. Ask most of these people 2 policies Biden's enacted since his term began. Over 90% of people voting can't even name one. And the word bot is so overused, but I can't think of a better word to describe the majority of the population. And I don't say that from a condescending point of view. I'm saying that because it's genuinely true. I remember I used to work these retail jobs. I worked at the deli department at Safeway. I worked at a Hawaiian barbecue. I was making sandwiches, cooking chicken, making all these cold foods, serving them, cutting meat for people. I was a cashier, boxing food. And until that point, I'd actually like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, people aren't that stupid. But no, they genuinely are. Like, people are actually dumb. And I didn't realize until I interacted with people on that level doing retail. And I want to clarify this. When I say dumb or bot, I'm talking about the way people move, the way people act, the way people think, the things they look forward to, the groupthink they participate in, social media programming, celebrity worship, and the way they view life. I remember having a 30-minute conversation with a TA in college, and I'll never forget this. He was a TA for an econ class, and I wanted to pick his brain. I asked him, hey, out of curiosity, why do you want to be a professor? And he said, and this guy was 30 by the way, he said, why not? It's a dope gig. The schedule's great, you get to spend most of your time chilling, you're pretty much teaching the same thing every quarter, and the pay is decent, and it's not that much work. And I remember just thinking like, you're 30, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm not trying to judge like what you want to do with your life, like whatever, do you? But at the same time, it's like, don't you want more? Like, why are you even here? Like, just to exist and roll around in the dirt? Like, don't you care about making your name and your existence mean something? Like, where's that masculine essence? Where's that fire? I thought I was gonna hear something along the lines of, oh, I really enjoy teaching or spreading knowledge to the younger generation, maybe making the world a better place via proxy of education, or I enjoy connecting with students and having an impact, just something. But all his answer was just some lazy sack of shit. And you might think that's a bit harsh, but like, I don't understand like why even exist at that point. And I get it, life is hard, but you're not supposed to give up despite all these different levers in society that might not work in your favor. The average guy, the average man, the middle class, I get it, it's hard, like I'm a part of that. But the reason why I'm saying all this is because so many things take people away from the ownership of their own lives. Because all these things in society, most people just throw up their hands in the air and say, well, fuck it, what am I supposed to do? And just give up and become a spectator or a side character in someone else's life and just try to get by your own. And I know what that's like because at one point I gave up as well. I was a freshman in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, I didn't know what I had to offer. If you would have asked me back then how I envisioned my life going, I would have just said, I don't know, just graduate college with this business econ degree, maybe work at a bank, try to get married at 30, have 2 kids, retire when I'm 65, and I don't know, call it a good life. Like, I don't know, I'm just a guy trying to get by. That's probably what I would have said. But now I care about creating and having an impact. I want to have experiences and stories to tell to make people feel something, while crafting myself to be the best version of myself I can. And I think that's the greatest ability God has given any of us. The ability to have impact and to influence others. To make someone else feel something is so powerful because that creates ripple effects. Like, genuinely think about that, to make someone else feel something. Like, that's so powerful, and we all have that ability. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. It can be simply the way you live your life. You might inspire someone and change their life, and that's so powerful. I remember in college, I kind of had this moment of realization that I needed to change the trajectory of my life and what I wanted to do. It was right after I finished my first year of college when I realized all the experiences I was trying to have were pointless and fleeting. It was when I realized college was a business more than was an education system. It was when I realized all these levers in society aren't there to serve you, rather to indoctrinate and program you instead. And there was just this fire burning inside me telling me that I wanted to do more. I just didn't know how. Just like a lot of people, I'm sure you feel that way as well, at least to a certain degree. The whole status quo of go to school, go to college, get a job, 9 to 5, work till you're 65, retire while you've saved up, and then enjoy life then, none of that made any sense to me. And I knew it. And I remember that first job that I had at Safeway for $14 an hour. And I remember all my coworkers were in their 30s and 40s. And it wasn't easy. It was in this really ghetto part of the city. The customers were just angry and a giant headache all the time. I think it was because they were just upset with their lives. Like, you could feel it. None of the coworkers wanted to be there. And I imagine these people that work and slave away, just hoping one day they can retire. They spend all this time slaving away to the system, paying taxes, and one day your life can change drastically out of nowhere for no reason. Or even worse, ends because they weren't protected by a system that the taxes that they're paying for is supposed to do. And I'm mainly talking about lackluster policies that allow crime in more liberal cities. Like, look at all the people that die from random acts of violence and crime. And these are the people that have been slaving away, paying taxes their entire life. It's like you're slaving away to the system and the system doesn't even protect you. And you've been working for them your entire life, and one day just like that, it's over. And I get that's an extreme example, but you don't think about these things until it happens to you. And to me that was like the saddest thing ever, and I didn't know how to change that. And that's pretty much the underlying crux of my videos in general. The status quo that essentially tells people to be average and slave away, I don't want that, and I want to fight against that. If you're okay with that and that's your happiness, then it is what it is. But I guess I'm more so talking to the person that's a spectator in life that wants to be the main character of their own life. It's an active decision that you have to make as a man, to be the main character of your own life. And the best way to do that, at least for me, is to live your life like a movie that's playing out in real time. What is the main character supposed to do? Play it safe and just live a discontent life? Or to go after every single thing they want in life? You can call it conceited or whatever, even though I don't think it is. I'd rather be conceited than an NPC. Like, I'm just being honest. Be the hero of your own story. And again, this doesn't mean you have to have these grandiose goals and aspirations. All I'm advocating for is to live life on your own terms. Like doing what you want to do, not what society told you to, not what your friends told you to do, not even what your parents told you to do. Understand and realize that the life you're currently living is your life. No one else is living it for you. So stop trying to live someone else's. Be the main character of your own life. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I think I'll leave this one at that. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys stay true. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.